What's up, YouTube? This is TerrierMon17 or MiniMe17 by my PSN name. I'm gonna be bringing you some playthrough or gameplay of Dungeons2. Let's get into the game.
It was time. The troops of the Absolute Evil had driven the Alliance back to their... Once upon a time, there was a kingdom full of flowers and rainbows, where the sun shone all the time, and there was loads of that goody-goody, lovey-dovey good people stuff going on. There, the Alliance of abominably good people lived in unearned wealth and prosperity. But there was a path leading to a different place there. At the end of this path was a rock. There was a cave carved in this rock in which the Absolute Evil lived. It wasn't a grubby, damp cave smelling of muck and mildew, but a deep, dark dungeon, so dark that even darkness itself was afraid of it. It was home to numerous innocent monsters, who enjoyed a happy, contented existence, living in complete harmony with their environment. But time and again, the sickening, sweet-smelling good visited this underworld in search of treasure and experience points. Many monsters found this to be the death of them, but much worse, the Absolute Evil's treasures were being stolen. One day, just as a few more heroes had finished plundering its dungeon, the Absolute Evil decided it had had enough, and decided to do something new, something quite monstrous. Go to the surface. The Alliance tried to resist, but the approaching horde just flowed over them like an angry wave of axes, teeth, and bad breath. After numerous unrelenting battles, the Absolute Evil finally stood before the Alliance's capital, King's Ending.
Yeah. Basically, the objective of the game is you are, to put it in Lord of the Rings terms, if you know what Lord of the Rings is, I am Sauron, basically, and I have an army of minions where I go around killing everything and turning everything into my ultimate domain. Basically, that's basically what this game is. Ugly little dude there, ain't he? Battle.
After countless battles, the forces
Battle
of the
of
Absolute
heroes
Evil
and
reached the
monsters
Alliance
is seen.
capital, King's Ending. The laughable remnants of the forces of good had come here to make ready for the final battle. Evil would pay a high price indeed to storm those fortress walls, or so they thought. Suddenly, a rumble rose from deep within the earth. Stones burst asunder, revealing an ancient path into the depths. Out of the depth of Stygian darkness arises the invincible evil. With earth-shaking steps, the unstoppable evil began its trek towards the front. In the
Big-ass
terribly
giant
improbable
dude.
event that it may have forgotten how that works, a formidable help function has been provided.
Think of this like a RTS strategy type thing, because eventually it gets into strategy. At the moment it's just killing everything.
The ground tore open to reveal bubbling lava.
Ooh. What's up, Caleb?
Even the forest could not withstand the aura of the ultimate, and beat a hasty retreat. A few of the Alliance units had entrenched themselves here. A determined Absolute Evil marched towards them in order to strike them down with its mighty weapon. The Absolute Evil had discovered a medal. These legendary awards ensured that creatures
Snake
would be made
people.
even more powerful.
An orc, I think, in armor. Yeah,
Eyes
yeah.
ablaze
Can
with
be orcs in armor.
the
And
insidious evil gazed upon the blood-drenched
ugly fat guy.
Here, the last defenders of good would die, and an age of evil begin.
Pretty sure, yeah, if I'm not mistaken, once I walk down here, everything just dies. Yeah, everything just dies.
Projectiles from the Alliance's catapults darkened the sky, but the Horde's fighting skills were at their best in darkness, if they survived. Nothing and no one could stop the invincible evil. And the absolute evil took yet another hero to the slaughtering block.
A lot of little dudes to kill. Seems to be pretty easy since my dude's like invulnerable and shit.
The absolute evil destroyed the defenders' camp in the east with the greatest of ease. Now, only one tiny camp offers any resistance to the absurdly evil evil.
Kill the rest of these things. There are people. Kill that girl. If you guys wanted to get this game, it's on the PlayStation Network. It's
the defenders in front of the city had been beaten to a pulp and defeated.
$56.99. If you go to GameStop, it's $60.
The final battle beckoned. The city gate was firmly barricaded by the Alliance's archers, but the absolute evil would not allow itself to be held up by such a ridiculous impediment. So, go get them! Destroy them now! Oh, yes. The absolute evil used its all-powerful magic to eliminate the archers and open the gate to the city. Using its legend of, wait for it, dairy powers, the absolute evil destroyed the impediment with ease.
It's a start, Caleb. It's a start.
The road to the capital was now clear. The absolute evil did not hesitate for even one nanosecond. The insidious evil entered King's Ending. A small, pitiful group of defenders stood in. Suddenly, the doors of several houses in the city opened.
Destroy a castle with a single blow.
Defenders bore down on the rather surprised.
I'm hardly taking any damage.
And then suddenly, the absolute evil hit the ground.
Oh shit, I died.
The day was saved, and good had triumphed. The Alliance lived happily ever after, whilst the defeated forces of evil had to eke out the remainder of their miserable existence underground.
Do I get a respawn?
In reality, absolute evil
Never
was not
died
defeated,
before.
But, he just took a little comfort.
I'm assuming I get a
Short while
respawn.
later, it arose once again.
I hope I get a fucking respawn.
The invincible evil had crushed the defenders.
Okay.
King's Ending had been defeated.
He just comes back to life.
At least, that's what he thought.
Heroes.
Suddenly, the final heroes of the
I'm
Alliance
not mistaken.
emerged from nowhere.
They kill me.
Another ambush. Now, this was becoming very boring. But wait, this time it was different. Instead, the heroes raised their hands and started singing an incomprehensible chant. A magical ritual? This did not go well. Well, actually, it bode the arrival of good things, great things, unless you happen to be the absolute evil. Somewhere in the depths of the dungeon, the ultimate evil awoke. It did not know what had happened, nor why it had awoken.
This is where the game gets interesting, guys.
Joined forces and cast a powerful banishment spell.
This would be my
the
second
absolute evil
playthrough of the
disappeared
game.
from sight with a threatening gesture.
Transformers reference. That's funny, Malik. No, Bumblebee's not here. This has nothing to do with Transformers. Nope, no Megatron. Well,
And
you could consider me Megatron if you
arose,
want.
Controlled by the an old throne was revealed by the
Ooh,
light.
see, look,
The
here's my dead body.
circumstances
I'm a
remained
ghost,
a mystery.
and this is my
The
hand.
hand of terror
Whee.
flew through the throne room, following
This is what I'm
each and
supposed
every
to do.
thought the ultimate evil had. After a few flying sessions, the ultimate evil was able to control the hand with
Make a
ease.
little builder dude.
Time
called
had
a
come to
sloth.
call forth creatures who
He's a
were
sloth.
completely devoted to
I'ma
it
hit him.
and would do its dirty work.
I'm gonna hit him
Little
again.
snots were the dregs of each and every
'Cause I'm
dungeon
mean
and
like
spent
that.
their time taking care of it. The expansion mad evil hired one snot on the spot. The first little snot appeared. It was completely ready to work in the dungeon and to crawl in the dust before the ultimate evil. Little snots were important to the ultimate evil because they took care of many important little things, such as excavating
I can
new
pick
areas.
'em up.
The psionically gifted evil
Grab
could
'em.
sense the presence of something important that was buried to the south. It instructed its little snots to dig in that direction.
Ooh, wrong thing.
As quick as a fart, the little snot made his way to the marked position and began to dig.
You want to make a game with just Bumblebee?
Behold,
I'd
the
play it.
creatures of the overjoyed evil had
guess.
apparently been much more industrious than it had thought. A great dungeon was revealed behind the wall.
Doo-doo-doo.
Everything was already in place. Doors, traps, a well-filled treasury. Oh, wait. Treasury? And where, if you please, is this treasury? Oh well. One
There's
can't
a
expect
trap
too much
there,
of these mindless
I
little
guess.
snots.
Swings
First
and
of all,
hits people if
some
they try to
gold
come
had to
in
be
the
dug out
dungeon.
to make space for a
That's
treasury
why this
to
game's
be
called
created.
Dungeons.
The
I
hand of
build my
terror
own
swiftly
dungeon.
marked a few small gold veins.
Pretty cool.
So that the little snots could excavate them. As soon as the gold vein was selected, a little snot immediately set out to mine valuable gold for the greedy evil.
Sorry if you can't hear none of the little doodads that they do in the game. I turned it down so you'd be able to hear me.
Once most of the gold had been mined, the Hand of Terror quickly created a treasury on the spot so that the precious metal could be safely stored. The clever evil mastered this task with flying colors. From now on, little snots could use the treasury to store mined gold. It was then at the greedy evil's disposal whenever more rooms needed to be built or new creatures recruited. Little snots were all well and good, but were too weak and cowardly to defend the dungeon. Since it was not able to defend itself, the ultimate evil would have to hire some orcs. But they would require food. Liquid food. Well, beer to be precise. So the next important thing to build was a brewery. And that would require some space to be created. the ultimate evil had the feeling that its servants were not really putting their backs into the work. Might a hearty slap from the hand of terror change that?
That's funny. Making space over here. Anywhere where there's little like gold spots, that's basically where I dig up and get a shit ton of money.
There was now an area cleared for the brewery site.
Over here,
and with quick finger
want to
snaps
build a
from the
brewery.
hand of terror,
These
the room
these
stood
dudes
ready.
like to get drunk.
Excellent. But the recently built brewery lacked a brewing copper.
Right there.
With a sigh of resignation, the overworked evil set about taking care of that too.
I can hit it.
The hard-working evil effortlessly built a brewing copper so that delicious beer could be brewed as soon as possible. One of the little snots started working on the brewing copper. The nostalgic evil banished all thoughts of Oktoberfest and brass bands. Those would have to wait. More important tasks had to be completed first. Both beer and gold were now available in the dungeon, so it was time to hire some creatures to defend against greedy heroes or whatever else snuck around underground. At present, it was only simple orcs declaring undying loyalty to the ultimate evil. The rest of the horde was scattered to the winds. Orcs were defensive, close combat specialists, capable of dealing with many opponents.
The
However,
orcs.
they were very vulnerable to ranged attacks. It's payday. An eerie gong rang through the halls. It did not bode well for the ultimate evil's treasury stocks, for at each sounding of the gong, the creatures would collect their undeserved wages. However, there was little it could do about this, as it was chained to the throne. Thus it had to give free rein to its servants' desires, for the time being at least.
The orcs they're building the walls of the dungeon. The orcs are mainly, well, they keep the dungeon safe. The little tiny dudes, they don't do nothing but build what I need. We're going to try to get all the gold we can. That's what we want right here. Allows us to get more orcs. I have to build one more. Get one more orc.
Suddenly, one of the repellent evil's servants became very thirsty. This was typical of a troop member of the unanonymous alcoholics known as the Horde. The Dipso made his way to the nearest brewery to quench his thirst. A thirsty orc arrived at the brewery. Eager and slavering, he started demolishing the alcohol. One louse-infested orc crawled up from the depths and declared allegiance to the ultimate evil. The first step towards the creation of a powerful army had been taken. The dungeon of the expansion-mad evil grew and prospered, but unfortunately, it had reached the maximum possible population it could currently manage. Now a creature would have to be thrown into the bottomless pit before any others could be brought in. The profound evil had had enough of dungeon sightseeing and now wanted to move to the surface to try a dish that is best served cold. Revenge. Some Alliance members were bound to be guarding the entrance to the overworld. A fine appetizer for a vengeful evil. The nameless evil's creatures came upon a spider's nest during their search for an entrance to the overworld. It would take more than one orc to smoke that out. The abysmal evil used the Hand of Terror to grab several of the creatures that were still completely inexperienced at fighting, and threw them onto the spider's nest. The creature disappeared into the pit of uselessness with a long drawn and gradually diminishing This particular act of wickedness brought a smile to the face of the ultimate evil.
Basically just bring them down and drop them. When they're done killing the spiders, yeah, they'll go back to doing whatever they want. That's basically what they do. Go back and do whatever they want.
The spiders dropped like flies. The strategically well-versed evil patted itself on the back, proud that it had led its troops into battle with such aplomb. And by led, I just simply mean chucking them at the enemy. The basics of a dungeon were now in place. However, the brewery was puny and didn't really have room to store beer barrels in, and the treasury was also anything but impressive in size. Quickly, the expansion-hungry evil set out to enlarge its dungeon.
Expand my brewery.
A few creatures of the ultimate evil had lit a fire in the dungeon and begun to barbecue. The smell of freshly roasted meat wafted through the underground.
The evil has awoken, but its brothers are still asleep.
Huh? What on earth was that? That's not in my script. What a weirdo. No matter. We'd better get back to concentrating on the dungeon. It's payday.
Yeah. Not a lot.
A huge
in this
monstrosity
game.
loomed out of the darkness on 8 legs. This dungeon's human guards had been ancient history for a long while. Now
That's
it was
funny,
home to
Caleb.
a huge spider and her brood. Would Sam and Frodo escape it and continue their journey to Mount Doom, or was this the end of the ring bearer? Hang on a minute.
See,
That's not
even in the
right
game,
text.
Lord of the Rings
Where
reference.
were we? Oh yes, a huge spider, henceforth called the Spider Queen. It would be necessary to eliminate the Spider Queen before the Horde could reach the surface. The Spider Queen sent forth a wave of her children. Of course, the ultimate evil was fully aware of this danger and immediately prepared to defend itself against them. That's what I heard.
Once you get the hang of it, it's pretty simple.
And another wave of spiders set out to destroy the ultimate evil.
It seems my orcs have died. Well, time to build more. Tends to happen a lot.
Late, one of the creatures had come up with a plan to create a trade union and go on strike for better working conditions. Once he remembered exactly what the ultimate evil would do to him, the idea was quickly shelved.
Again, pretty simple.
The vile perversion, once called the Spider Queen, had nothing more with which she could fight the Horde. Later, the sensitive evil would have her innards made into a lava lamp. The way to the surface was open. Now it was time to put those vengeance plans into practice. The vile evil wanted to take this opportunity to utter a really sinister laugh. But unfortunately, its physical state made this unviable. Instead, it asked the narrator to do a bit of sinister laughter on its behalf. Once the ultimate evil had escaped...
That's all for today, guys. Please like and subscribe to my channel. Please like the video. And see you next time.